All right, you guys, welcome back to our weekly live feeds and BSPN. I haven't said that in a while. This is BSPN, Bikini Suits and Posing Network. That's what we do here. So as you're logging on, type into the comments, say hello. Tell me where you're from. We did that last week. Everybody was typing into the comments. It just started. Everybody started saying where they were from. That was pretty cool. There you go, Kelby. If you guys are logging in on Instagram, head over to YouTube to see all the comments, screen shares. We got videos, we got pictures, all the fun stuff. So just in time for cardio because Kelby is less than 2 weeks out at this point. The braids were just easy. I got out of the shower and I didn't feel like blow drying my hair. So pigtails it is. My hair's gotten really long, really freaking long. What's up, guys? What's up? So for those of you that are new here, we always give it a few minutes for everybody to get logged on and get comfortable. We let everybody kind of see all the notifications pop up. So if you haven't done this already, subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on notifications because then you'll get notified every time we go live. What's up? What's up? Well, Lexi, if you can say anything that I don't see from the photos and the videos that you saw in person, feel free to type those into the comments. What's up, Shanika? We'll be talking about Shanika tonight because she was in this show. And then she's in prep for Pittsburgh too. We got 2 Pittsburgh Pro people and NPC, Kelby's NPC going in for the next 2 weeks here. What's up? What's up? So as you guys are logging on too, I have a new QR code up in the corner here for our Suit Consultations. So this is brand new. I've only shown this to a handful of people. So if you have ever been interested in actually working with me on getting your suit done, go ahead and scan this QR code right here. It's also in my link in my bio, or link in my bio. It's in my link in my link tree. It's on my bio on Instagram. If you're watching on Instagram, it's in there too. But this is a brand new page, and it'll show you actually how the process works. Because I know a lot of people have questions about that kind of stuff, so we created something to answer those questions, basically. So check that out. And also, I told Shanika that she can never wear another color, right? The red is beautiful on her skin. Absolutely. There's Maya. Maya was in this show as well. So we'll be talking about Maya tonight. Look at that. I love it when ladies log on that we're in the show or going to be in a show coming up or whatever. I love that. So we also have a new YouTube channel partner, and that is Liquid Sun Rayz. If you have followed me for any period of time, you know I have only used Liquid Sun Rayz for like 15 years at this point. They are phenomenal with show day tan, so go check them out if you haven't booked your tan yet. They do have DIY options too, so if they're not going to be at your show, you can get their kits and you can actually do your own tan with Liquid Sun Rayz as well. I spray tanned myself in both Hawaii and in Japan, and my Japan tan was actually one of the best tans I've ever had ever in my entire career. I sprayed myself. At some point, I'm thinking I need to do a tutorial on how to actually spray yourself because I know people do the DIY tan and they do the hand stuff. I don't do the hand stuff. I actually sprayed it. I have an air gun sprayer that I did it with, and it looks phenomenal. Just saying. Yeah, this was a stacked show. It was absolutely. I know I missed some comments here. Hang on, I'm gonna try and scroll through real quick. There we go. And also tomorrow we will be on live again. Okay, so we're going to come on live tomorrow because we have another show coming up this weekend. So I just saw the pro list come out. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk about some other things tomorrow night too. I've got another announcement tomorrow. So I think it's a Japan pro show or something like that. But we have a few other topics I want to talk about tomorrow. And then because we have a Behind the Bikini on Thursday. So tomorrow we're going to come on live. So as far as, this was a comment on Instagram, so as far as doing your tan yourself, it does take practice, but it's actually not hard. And I actually liked it because I felt like I had control over it and I could fix it if something went wrong. So that's one thing that I don't like about spray tanning at shows with tanners is like I'm not in control of it. I like to be in control of things. I'm a Virgo. I like to be in control of things. So when I was in control of my own tan, it was actually great because I could measure if I needed to put more tan on or not. But it does take experience to know that. So if you don't know that, that's what your coach is for. Your coach can help you with that kind of stuff too. So just as an FYI. That was something that I did when I was in Japan. I was doing my progress videos and stuff, and I would send them to my coach, and she's like, "Yeah, you're good. You don't need another coat, or make sure you get another coat on, or whatever, that kind of thing." So gave me feedback with that too, so that was helpful. What's up, guys? Okay, So I'm going to get rid of this QR code first. But like I said, we will come on live tomorrow night, so make sure you're here at 8:15 again. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this QR code on the top too. But like I said, that is in the description box here on YouTube. If you're on Instagram, it's in my link tree there. Okay, let's talk about girl power. So the first thing I'm going to do, hopefully this will work because I have the video. So Jess, who's on here right now, she's screen recorded this for me because I was in the middle of clients during prejudging, so it was very difficult for me to keep up with everything that was going on. So I'm going to pull up the, oh, where did it go? There it is. The video from first call outs, basically. So I'm just going to play this through so you guys can watch it. This was our first call out. They just walked to the back. I'm just going to start it from here and let them turn around. So just take a look at this. While you're watching this, type into the comments anything that you notice, right? You know, video from shows is a little bit difficult sometimes because you can't see everything that they saw live, but this is pretty good. This is a pretty good video, right? We're seeing the conditioning, we're seeing the fullness, we're seeing the pop, we're seeing all those kinds of things. So type into the comments right here. Let me know, you know, some things that you see here in this particular call out and some things that you have questions about. So this was your top 8 basically right here, right? So whenever we're looking at these show lineups, the girls in the center are towards the top. They're going to start moving them around a little bit. So let's let them move them a little. And again, type into the comments questions because I'm going to go through their pictures one by one. We're going to go through the top 6 for the pictures. So they're moving Marie Eve in towards the center. Ashley is also in the center. So Marie and Ashley are splitting center at this point. They're moving Allison and, oh gosh, somebody help me with her name. I can pull it up. I've got it. I just can't remember her name. Shoot. Sorry. I forgot it off the top of my head. Chantel. There we go. I got it. Sorry. Blanked on her name. Got it. Yep. Yeah, they do need a bigger stage. That's for sure. I concur with that. They definitely needed a bigger stage. Lots of upper outer glutes on Ashley. Yes, I agree with that. Yep, for sure. What else? What else do we see here? Anything else you guys notice? Or any questions you have watching this? Type those in because even if I can't explain the question here by looking at the video, we're just going to go through first call out. We'll do it when we go on to the pictures. Yes, this is absolutely the fullest package I have ever seen on Ashley myself as well. Agree, 100%. And we're going to talk about that a little bit too. I did listen to her podcast with Adam wrapping up this show and her feedback and all that kind of stuff. So when we get to her individual photos, we will talk about that as well. What else? What else do you guys see? One thing I'm gonna go into a little bit when we talk about photos is Allison Testu. So I actually think this was a much better package on her than what she had at Wasatch. She fixed a lot of posing issues. She smiled. We're gonna talk about some things she can still do to improve her overall look, but this was much better. I'm still not a huge fan of her balance in the back pose. There's a few things I'd like to see change with that, but I think she did a lot better at this particular show. It looks like more rewarded this one. I like that. No, definition is definitely not being rewarded in this show. It's definitely not. So I'm going to talk about that. But it is definitely not. And that's actually something that is a pain point of this particular show. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Now, one thing I did not like, did you see Allison just swipe her glutes? Oh, girl, you got to not do that. Hold on. I'm going to roll it back a little bit. Hold on so you can see it. Watch Allison transition into the back pose. That's a big no-no. Don't ever do that, you guys. Don't ever do that. Okay? No touching your glutes. Okay? What else do we see here? Anything else you guys notice? But yeah, I agree. They absolutely need a bigger stage because we're actually losing. I think this is Noelle, right? We're losing her. I feel like she's not even in the call out. Okay, so that was your first call out. So I'm going to let that just kind of pause for a second. Marie Eve's glues a show compared to Clash last month were way fuller. I really thought she gave Ashley some tough. I agree, 100%. I think this was a great look for Marie. I really do. I think it was a great look on her. So we're going to start going through the photos, okay? We're going to start with 6th place and work our way up. Let me move this because I just moved over so I could see her actual name. She was not 6th place. But first and foremost, let's talk about Shanika. Shanika's here on the live. That's not the best picture right there. Let me pull up a. Shanika's one of our cuties. I just wanted to give her a shout out because she did make the top 10 at this show. So I wanted to give her a big congratulations. And of course, the photos aren't loading. This happened last time. This happened last time when we were on live too. It's like NBC News like takes down their site during our live or something. I don't know exactly. So let's see. We'll pull this up. Let's see if we can get her pictures to load. Hang on a second. If not, we'll just go with the main photo here and the main screen. All right. But I wanted to give Shanika a shout out because she did make the top 10 at this show, which was difficult. I mean, it was like, what was it? Was it 33 or 35 girls? I don't know. Yeah. So again, the pictures are going down. That's crazy. That's the second time in a row that's happened for our live feed. So I don't know if we're being jinxed here or what. But anyway, so we got Shanika up. So we'll keep Shanika up right here. But I wanted to give her a big shout out. She did phenomenal here, did a great job. And then she's going to be going into Pittsburgh as well. So good. I'm going to give her a good luck. I was hoping to get her a good picture up here, but y'all can go to my Instagram and pull it from the Instagram there. So you can take a look at those photos. But congratulations to Shanika. So we'll see if we can get any of these other photos to actually pop up for us, or if NBC News is going to be wonky for me tonight again. If it is, I'll just pull up the live stream. We'll just go through that. We'll go through each girl. So Maya came in 6th here. So the boss actually rewarded the more muscular girls. This time at Grl Pwr, they seem to reward the softer, fuller girls. Right. That's what they did do. So this is what we're going to do because NBC News isn't working at the moment. I'm just going to go ahead and pull up the live stream. I'm going to go back to the beginning and we'll just look at their front poses and their back poses as we go through this. So. Okay. So let's take a look at the front pose. I did go through these photos earlier, so I'll just kind of talk about what I see and what I saw and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm going to let it play a little bit so we can get them into the right positions for their placings. But Maya came in 6th. One thing I will say about Maya in this particular lineup in comparison to last shows, I felt like she posed better. I felt like her upper body was a little bit more open. And just looking at Maya right now, she's right here. Looking at Maya right now, she just, to me, looks a little bit more open in a good way, right? I think it's a good thing. I think she posed better. Let's take a look at her back shot right here. Okay, I'm going to pause it so we can take a look. So looking at her back shot in this lineup, to me, she's one of the more conditioned girls in this particular lineup, which I think looks great, but she's also full. There's a thing where you could be too conditioned, you're not full enough. She definitely was. She was definitely full enough. In general, she just needs more upper outer glute. She knows this. This is her feedback all the time. But I think this was a great look for her. And like I said, when you look at her in comparison to everybody else here, we do see a little bit more better condition than most of the girls here in this lineup. I'll let it play a little bit and let it settle. While we're here, we can go ahead and go into Yulia, which is here in the blue. Yulia took 5th. So from the back, I mean, glutes look amazing, right? I would have her up in the top 2, top 3 with her glutes. So her conditioning was a little bit. Okay, appreciate my detailed feedback. Of course, Maya. I always look at your feedback. Of course. Yeah, no, you look great here. And I actually really like the openness of your upper back too. I meant to say that too. In your back pose here, you open up your upper body more. And I actually really like that. I think I mentioned that last week, but I do like that you opened up here. That was a much better look on you. Okay, so with Yulia, she was a little bit over the line with conditioning in this lineup. If she was in a different lineup, she'd have been fine. But like I was saying before, we're going to kind of get into the fact that the girls here are a little bit softer. Their conditioning wasn't quite as hard. And that's what got rewarded here versus what got rewarded, again, like at Wasatch the week before. So I feel like Yulia had been in Wasatch, it would have been a different story. She would have been top 2, right? So from the back, I think Yulia's lights out. Again, conditioning in this lineup is a little bit too much, but in any other one, she would have been fine. Where Yulia needs some help, let's get her to the front. Actually, that's a really good look from the back. Let's get her to the front. Where Yulia needs some help is her midsection. So everything is kind of weird. Shelby and I have been working on posing tweaks to open up my upper body more in all the poses. Yeah, I can see it. You did a great job. You did a great job. That was definitely, like I said, one of my pieces of feedback, and I can see that you applied it here for sure, 100%. So what I'd like to see happen with Yulia is I'm going to work with Yulia tomorrow with some posing stuff. And try to get the lower abs a little bit tighter. The thing with Yulia too is that when she gets in condition, her body burns like crazy. And I know this just because I know her coach as well. Her coach is my coach. Her body burns like crazy when it comes to just getting that metabolism going, right? So Jamie has to feed Yulia a lot. So in doing that, that tends to happen with the lower abs. The lower abs go a little bit crazy, that kind of thing. So she has to be careful of that. Have to try and get her full enough so that she's round and full like all the rest of these girls. But you have to control the waistline too. So we're going to work on some posing stuff. We've got some things in that we're looking at doing for her next show, which will be Pittsburgh, to help to just kind of streamline that front pose a little bit for her and make her a little bit tighter in that waistline. I think if that had been there, then we probably could have seen her move up maybe a spot or two. But when we're talking about 5th, 4th, 3rd, they're all relatively close as far as the good things and the bad things that they have going on, right? You're saying I noticed in general is that stage presence. Maya looked like she was having so much fun up there. Some of the other girls looked like they didn't want to be there. Yeah. Stage presence is a big thing for sure. Across the board, stage presence is a big thing. So that has to do with stress. No, stress is not a factor here. So going on to Chantel. Chantel was very tight again through the midsection. I think that's probably the reason why she beat out Yulia in this particular situation. She's really balanced from top to bottom, but I'd like to see her front pose reworked a little bit. She's pushing almost forward on her pelvis. I'd like to see her pelvis go back just a touch to try to round out her upper glute a little bit more. It's almost like she's leaning backwards on her upper body, if you look at that, right? So if she can just kind of rework that front pose a touch, I think that would be helpful just to kind of get her upper glute to pop in the front pose a little bit more. And I'm sorry, Chantel took 3rd. I'm sorry, Allison took 4th. So I'm going back and forth. I don't have the placings up in front of me. I'm sorry. So Chantel took 3rd. So we'll talk about her. I'm still on her, so we'll talk about her. The suit, I'm okay with it. It's a little bit on the lighter side when it comes to color. I'd like to see a little bit more depth of color to it there. She actually has a really beautiful makeup look. I noticed that in her photos. Let me see if we've got a front pose up on her on NPC News. Let me see. On her main page here. Not really. Oh, but the pictures are working. Oh, perfect. All right, so I'm going to swap over to the photos. Hang on. So we're kind of going a little bit out of order. But this is Chantel. So we didn't talk about Allison yet. We'll go back to Allison, who took 4th. So this is, to me, this is a really beautiful look. Like her hair, her makeup, her skin tone, everything is really, really pretty. The suit is a little bit, like I said, a little bit on the light side. I would have liked to see this a little bit darker. I think that would have just looked better on her skin tone and everything too, if it was just a little bit darker. Because even her tan is one of the lighter tans on stage, so it doesn't really pop off as much as it needs to. If she could get like a deeper green or a deeper blue, this is almost like a blue green, like tealy kind of turquoisey color. If she could do like a little bit deeper, I think it would be really pretty, but then she needs to get a little bit darker on her tan too. So that's my 2 cents with that. Let me see if I can get another, now that the site's working again. Let me see if I can get another photo to pop up. Yep, there we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so here's her front pose. Again, she's got some pretty big delts. And this could just be the way that the lighting is at this particular show, but like it reminds me of she has delts like Brittany Hamilton that we just talked about last week, but I don't think she's as lean as Brittany was. When I'm looking at this pose, like I said, I think it's pretty good, but I think she could stand to tilt the pelvis back and up a little bit more, and that would help to balance her frame top to bottom. I think she looks a little bit upper body dominant here, and if she just tilted a touch more, that would help to balance her. Overall, I really like this level of conditioning, though. I think this is a very good level of conditioning. I think she's nice and full. I think she's lean. She's in shape. Overall, really pretty package. I would just fix the posing tweak a little bit there. Let's see if we can get a back pose. Now that the site's working, I'll go back and pull up our other girls too that we didn't get a chance to look at. So the one thing I would say here with Chantel, and this is something you can see in the comparison shots too, is she lacks a little bit of depth in the glutes, just a little bit. It's almost like she's popping, but I'd like to see that continue down a little bit more. It's almost like she gets flat through that hamstring tie-in. So I just like a little bit more, and that could just be a pumping issue. That could be a food issue or something like that. In general, I think it's relatively close. She just, to me, just looks a little bit flat through those hamstrings. But like I said, when you see her next to everybody else, she's got some good pop on the upper outer glutes. I think she looks great right there. Let's go back to the pictures that we missed now that we got the site working again. I just wanted to we'll give Shanika a quick shout out. Let me pull her up. There we go. I'm like, as long as the photos are going to work. There we go. Here's Shanika. Overall, really beautiful package, nice and full and round. I don't know what her feedback was here. I would say maybe just a touch tighter and then fill it out a little bit more, which is what you can do going in 2 weeks into Pittsburgh. That would be my suggestion. At this particular point, she looks really good, but I'd say just a little bit leaner and then fill it out just a little bit more. And that, again, you can do that in 2 weeks. So that's my 2 cents on that. Again, wanted to give her a shout out since she made that top 10. Let's go to Maya since we were talking about her before. Let's take a look at her front pose here. All right. There we go. Front pose to me looks a lot better. Again, she's got a little bit more pelvic tilt too, which I noticed that as well. It pops the glute a little bit more in that front pose, which I really like. So overall, I think that this front pose was a lot better than what I've seen the last couple of weeks, and I think she's on the right path with this. I do like the purple too. I've decided that I do like the purple. Took me a minute. I wasn't sure if I wanted the purple or if I wanted the red on her. I think I like the purple. So just saying. Let's see. And again, she went more wide with that back, which was perfect. I think that was a really good change here with her back pose. And at this point, it's just, again, about filling out that upper outer glute and just get a little more pop up on the top. But this upper back, I noticed that immediately was much, much better. So just wanted to point that out with the photos. We're going all out of order tonight. Sorry, guys. We got the site working. So exactly it. Also, Standy mentioned that when I transition, my upper body disappears as you recommended tapering the hair because she does believe my upper body has enough muscle. Yeah, I would say I could definitely see that as far as taking the hair down. 100%. Yeah, I get that for sure. Yep. Okay, so now we're back to Yulia again. So let's get a front pose on her. So here's Yulia. So what I was saying is she's got a little bit of that lower ab distension. So actually we're doing a few things different for Pittsburgh. So just hold on. I'm not going to tell you what they are yet, but we are doing a few things different for Pittsburgh to help with this. And then just the overall oomph. Again, just getting her fuller. She's definitely in shape. She's definitely conditioned. She just needs to get her metabolism to slow down a little bit so she holds on to her food a little bit better. If she can stay full, I mean, she's going to come in and win one of these shows really, really easily. She just needs to be able to stay full, and not have the lower abs poke out from eating all the food too. So sometimes you actually have to slow the metabolism down a little bit so that the food and everything sticks to the body, because she's in this position right now where she needs the food to stick, right? So if she can do that, she'd be good to go. Let me pull a back shot up. She's not fully posed here. So this one is really close up. always hate showing the really close up ones. But it's the only one where she's fully posed. So, but you can see she's tight, she's lean, she's got really good projection to her glutes. She's got good fullness and upper outer. She's just a little bit too tight through those hamstring tie-ins. So now she, again, just needs more food so that it sticks, so that she can stay full through the show. So I think that that's the only thing. And like I said, if she was in a different lineup, if she was in the Wasatch Warrior lineup, again, I think she'd have been top 2. So just saying, it's a matter of who you're next to that day as well. So let's go to, so we missed Allison. So let's go to Allison. So again, Allison did a lot of things much better at this show than what she did at Wasatch. So kudos. That was very, very good. Biggest thing that I noticed right off the bat is the smile, right? She smiled. Fantastic, right? She took the stallion pose out of her routine, which is great as well. I would still rework this front pose a little bit, because what it's showing to me is it's showing delts and glutes, right? She's just too twisted to the side, showing too much of that pop almost. It's almost like we always talk about wanting to have like a cartoonish look to our frame, right? And she's almost over the line with the cartoonish, right? Her fullness is great. One thing that I would do is I would try to mitigate this vascularity she's got going on in her shoulders and in her bicep. Just tone that down a little. Maybe that's just a matter of how you actually eat your peak week food going into the show or something. I don't know, but just try to get rid of this vascularity. They actually don't want vascularity in bikini. So that's one thing I would do. But I think overall her look was a lot prettier here. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that she smiled, which is fantastic. I'm glad that she took the feedback seriously and she came in and smiled. And again, I would just rework this front pose just a little bit to make it look a little better balanced, so she doesn't look so like shoulders and glutes, right? But again, massive improvement from what she did last week. So gotta give her a hand for that, because it takes a lot to be able to make that kind of improvement in a week. You know what I mean? So she's again one of these ones that does not have a fully posed back pose, but let's see, unless it's fully close up. So let me see if I can, and she's touching her glutes. Guys, don't touch your glutes. That is a big thing. I hope they told her that. I hope they told her that in her feedback. Don't touch your glutes when you're transitioning. So again, it's close up. It's hard to see this. One of the things I'm not a fan of with her physique is she looks like she's got like one continuous piece to her back, her legs and her glutes. There's no delineation between her glutes and her legs. Some of this could be her suit cut. I think she's got too much coverage on the top part of her glutes, which is making her glutes look smaller, which again is one of the reasons why she doesn't have any delineation between her glutes and her legs. So maybe if she got a little bit of a smaller suit cut in the back and showed a little bit more glute, that would help to make that difference there. Also, her hair is too long. Her hair is hitting the top of her suit, which is then again taking away from her glutes. And it's also taking away from the smallness in her back. She needs to get rid of some of that hair so we can see her waistline. She actually has a really small waistline from the back, but because her hair is like this, we can't see it. And it actually ruins that X that we got back there, that shape that makes her, again, would make her glutes stand out a little bit better. So all of these things make a difference, right? Cut the hair, get a little bit of a smaller suit. She fixed the back pose as far as the last show she was bending over, and she's not doing that here. So we saw a lot more projection on her glutes here, but she's got really high hamstring tie-ins. So she's got to do something to be able to make those glutes look like they are projecting out at us more. And I think some of that has to do with, like I said, the suit and the hair. If she could do that, I think it would make a big difference. Already just standing up like she is here in this pose versus what she did last week already made a huge difference. So make a couple more tweaks, and that's gonna make a difference too, I think. She's got great shape. She just isn't showing it right. She's close, just not quite there yet. We just talked about Chantel, so we're gonna go to Marie. I think Marie looked fantastic. I think, again, going back to what I was saying before, I mean, she was top 2 in this show, but I think if she was in Wasatch, she would have been top 2 in Wasatch as well, just like I mentioned with Yulia. She's nice and full. Let me see if I can get one with her arm down. That's better. She's nice and full. This is a much better look than what she had at Clash just a few weeks ago. Okay. I know her critique from Tyler at the Arnold UK was that she looked a little bit glute dominant. I don't see that here at all. I see some really good balance between her shoulders and her glutes here. I think this is a phenomenal look. Honestly, I wouldn't change anything. I think she did a great job here. I mean, maybe go with a brighter blue on the suit, but even that, I don't think that's a big deal. I think the suit's fine too. So she's smiling. My critique for her at the UK Arnold was to smile more, and she's doing that. She did that at the last show too. Looks great. I think this is a great front pose for her. I don't think I'd really change much of anything. She had some really good glute pop from the front in the lineup and everything too. So I think she looked great here. I really do. I think her conditioning was on point. I think her fullness was on point. I think she looked phenomenal. And then let's take a look at her back shot. So again, to me, this is a great back shot for Bikini. She's kind of moving. Her hair's still moving. Let's see if we can get her. There we go. This is a great shot for me. Like, nice fullness, nice projection, nice balance from top to bottom. All that kind of stuff. So I again don't know if I would do anything different here. The hard part with her is, standing next to Ashley. Somebody made a comment on this, that Ashley had a ton of upper outer glute, and she does. Ashley has a ton of upper outer glute. So that made Marie look a little bit smaller in that area, but by herself, I don't think she needs more. I think she's good. I think that her shape is actually right where it should be. Again, this conditioning is perfect. Like, she's got that fullness. You can still see a little hint of that tie-in, but it's not over the top, right? Maybe she could add a little bit more delt from the back with her back pose, but this could also just be not fully posed right here. Again, a lot of these shots were not fully posed. Let me see. No, she's fully posed. So yeah, maybe just bring the elbows down a little bit so we see a little bit more delt on the outside, give her a little bit more width to help her match from top to bottom a little bit better. That's about all I would change on the back pose. I don't think I would change anything else. I think this is a great back pose. I think she looks great. I think the suit cut's good. And again, I think the conditioning and fullness is right on point. So the only thing I would do is maybe try to get the delts to pop a little bit more. Same thing, Maya here, same thing I said about Maya with her back pose from Wasatch. She changed her upper body just a little bit. That's the same thing I would do here with Marie. So that's it. That's all I would change there. So, Ashley did win this. This was her first show back since Japan. And again, I did watch her podcast with Adam today because I wanted to hear what they had to say as far as what her feedback was and things like that. And they told her she needed to be leaner, which I agree with. I agree she needed to be leaner. I think Ashley's best package I've seen on her, and I was there in person, was Japan. And they mentioned that on the podcast today too. She felt like Japan was like her sweet spot. That's where she hit all of the boxes and everything like that. I think that Japan was much better than this particular package. To be honest with you, I would not have a problem with this level of conditioning in Bikini. They told her she needed to be leaner. And even in this lineup, I think she needed to be leaner. But to be honest, if this was what was being rewarded for Bikini across the board and consistently, I would be good with this, right? I actually think this is what Bikini should be right here, this level of leanness, right? The issue is that's not what's being rewarded across the board, right? We're seeing tighter physiques being rewarded. We're seeing more conditioning being rewarded. So that's where I have a little bit of an issue with it, because I do think that Marie was more on board with the criteria as far as the conditioning level was concerned. And then the problem that you have here is, okay, so Ashley's not quite in shape. She's not quite lean enough. Marie is. Ashley's got killer glutes. Marie does too, but Ashley's glutes are just really hard to beat, period. So which one do you go with, right? Do you go with the one that is in shape, or do you go with the one that has the better glutes, right? So again, going back to, if this is what was being rewarded at every show here with this kind of conditioning, kudos, love it. Absolutely love it. But we are seeing tighter conditioning across the board, right? So, I feel for Marie in this particular situation, because I do think it was probably her best look that I've ever seen on her, to be perfectly honest with you. But when you get a girl like Ashley up there, who obviously is the GOAT, you know what I mean? And then she comes out with glutes that look like this. I mean, it's just really hard to beat that. You know what I mean? It's really hard to to fucking beat it. It just is what it is, right? So again, I was listening to some of Ashley's own critiques for herself. She wasn't happy with her hair at prejudging. She wasn't happy with her makeup at prejudging. And she went and fixed all that stuff for finals. All these photos are from prejudging, so I don't know what she looked like at finals, and how much of a difference it made. But I would agree. I think her hair needs a little bit of work right here. Specifically, it looks a little bit jaggedy at the ends, and it's kind of hitting the top of her bikini bottom and things like that too. She looks like this could be her just kind of bending over a little bit in a transition. She looks a little bent over to me, but I can't. Yeah, she's a little bent. And I think she was probably doing that because she wasn't lean enough for the show, and she was probably trying to bring the hamstrings out a little bit more, which is not typical of her. She typically is on the leaner side. And again, I listened to their podcast, so she was talking about how actually going into this show was a grind, and it was harder than it typically is, and she wasn't leaning out. Her body wasn't responding how it typically does. So all of this stuff makes sense, right? So, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. You guys know I'm always going to root for the underdog. I'm always going to root for that girl that is not qualified for the Olympia. That's just how it is. And I just want to give Marie some oomph here, because I do think this was a really, really good package. And I don't think I've seen her much better than what I saw. So, Ashley Fuller like this, again, if this was across the board, the standard, kudos. I'm all about it. I've said this before. I'm not a huge fan of extreme conditioning at all. Even in any division, especially bikini. I think bikini should be softer, should be fuller, should be rounder, should not be as conditioned. That's my two cents, my personal opinion. Over the course of the last few years, it has gotten much more conditioned. It pulled down. Actually, a few years back, it was really conditioned, and it has pulled back, and I see they're pulling it back. And, the fact that they have rewarded Ashley here tells me that they're trying to still keep on pulling it back, which is good. I do like that part of it. So 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. I hope Marie continues to push, because I think she should get a qualification here in the next few shows if she does. I always want to root for that underdog, but congratulations to Ashley too. And for her coming out and being honest about the fact that this was a hard prep for her. Being honest on her podcast about how she did have to grind harder going into this. Sometimes you look at people like Ashley and just assume that it's easy, because she does it so much, but it's not always easy. We all have our own battles that we're fighting and things like that too. So she mentioned on the podcast that she was going to do Wasatch, and then she decided not to. Because her body just wasn't ready. It wasn't responding. And so she decided to push it back, and she waited to get on stage for this show. So, she got the critique that she needs to be leaner. So, part of me is like, I wish they told her she didn't need to be leaner, because then everybody could come in a little bit fuller. You know what I mean? But, it's part of the game. It is what it is. We got to keep chasing the criteria, all of that kind of stuff. So what do you guys think? Do you like the fuller look? What is your preference? Type into the comments. What do you think? Do you like a fuller look like what Ashley brought to the stage? Or would you rather have the standard be what the standard is, where they're telling her she needs to be a little bit leaner? What do you think? What do you guys think? I want to hear your thoughts. Yeah, Ashley stays in shape so long, all year round, basically. You know what I mean? This was a long time for her to be off stage. So she had to push her body, and she said it. She said on her podcast that that it didn't go how it normally goes. It was harder. It was harder for her going through this prep. So yeah, tell me your thoughts. Yeah, I like the fuller look. I've said this before, my concern with the female divisions is always in regard to conditioning. Put as much muscle on your frame as you want. Go for it. But when it comes to females and it comes to getting the extreme levels of conditioning, it's very, very hard. It's very, very hard to do. And it's very, very hard on your body. So she looks a little juicy. She was juicy. She was juicy. 100% was juicy. And I don't have a problem with that. I wish that was what was rewarded more. You know what I mean? I like the leaner, more muscular look. Yeah, and everybody's got their preference. But again, when it comes to, I personally like the fuller look because it makes bikini special and unique versus the other categories. Fuller, seeing Wasatch kind of scared me. I love the look. I think she looks amazing, but as a Masters competitor, it doesn't seem to work. Masters is different. Yes, you have to come in leaner in Masters because it's just the skin and the muscle issues. So it looks more feminine. Standard is currently a bit confusing. Aren't we aiming for fuller and not as lean conditioned currently? Yeah, but the problem is that here's the issue. We are leaning towards more full and not as lean, but there's a few genetic elite that can get away with that full and still being lean look. It's still very conditioned, regardless of how this shows up on stage and what it looks like in the different lighting. It is very conditioned for bikini. You look at bikini in like the Courtney King era, it's not even close to this. Not even close. Look at India Paulina when she was really popular and doing very, very well. The conditioning is very, very different now. It's very different. Now, I will say this, like I said, a few years ago, it was getting very hard and they pulled it all back and made it softer and fuller again, which is good. But it's an incredibly hard thing to do. It's an incredibly hard thing to get lean enough and be full at the same time. It is very, very hard to do. It is not easy. It's easier to get super conditioned, or it's easy to stay full and not be lean, right? Question here, they are really perfectly. Yeah, I just, I think, again, I go back to, for me personally, what the ideal look for me. The ideal look for me is a lot of muscle and nice and full and round. That's the ideal look, because it's healthy still. To get that extra couple of pounds of body fat off of the hamstrings, to get that hamstring tie to come in, takes a lot. It takes a lot, choosing softer looks as opposed to harder. Do you think that's trending that way across the board moving forward? I don't know. I mean, I hope it does. I hope it goes a little bit fuller. One of the things I noticed at this particular show for the pros is that when you got into the third call out, a lot of the girls were very soft, which you typically don't see, because I don't know how many call outs there were. I think there was 5 because there was 35 girls or something like that. But usually if you've got a softer, almost out of shape looking girl, she's going to be in the last call out. And that was not the case here at this pro show. The softer girls that still had shape were in the third call out, which means they were close to placing, right? So, to me, that's kind of sending a signal that they are going to start erring on the side of soft versus too hard. I think if you're too hard, you're getting knocked way, way down. Way, way down if you're too hard. So I don't think it might have been a totally female judging panel. Somebody help me out. Lexi, if you're still on here, I know you were there. I can't remember if it was all females for this particular show or not. I know there were a lot of females on the panel. I just don't know if it was all female. Also, I sort of worried me. I was secretly hoping they would have told Ashley that their softer look was perfect. Yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, if they had told Ashley that she was perfect, she didn't need to do anything different, I'd have been okay with that. Because that would send a signal of everybody else needs to get softer and fuller too, right? Again, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, if it's being rewarded across the board, I'm good with that. You know what I mean? Again, I go back to, and again, I always say this, like, back in my day, we have that running joke. But back in my day, it was, the girls now that are bikini pros have more muscle and are better conditioned than the figure girls when I was coming up, right? So I know Sandy no, it wasn't. Okay, I didn't think it was an all-female judging panel. I know they have an all-female judging panel at Nashville Fit Show. They do all-female. But I didn't know about this one. Yeah, so it was mostly women, obviously with Sandy being the head judge and everything like that. But I think that, yeah, as Maya was saying, there were men on the panel for this one. There were men. So I do think that in general, and this is being very, stereotypical, but it's also in general, it happens when it's women on the panel, they tend to go for that softer, more feminine, prettier look. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, But yeah, that's my 2 cents. Like I said, if we were trending towards the fuller look and they didn't tell Ashley to get leaner, I've been okay with that. As long as it's across the board, as long as I reward it the same in every show. That's the big thing too. You got to reward the same. You got to keep the criteria as consistent as possible. When you got pros showing up that are this good, there should be some consistency in the results, right? There should be consistency in how the placings play out. So any other thoughts, any other questions that you guys had from this show? Speak now or forever hold your peace. While I'm waiting for any other comments or questions to come in, feel free to type them into the chat panel here. As I was saying before, our YouTube sponsors are Liquid Sunrays, so make sure you go check them out. I do have a discount code too. It's Cuties15. It is also in the description box here on YouTube. So if you missed the QR code, you can always come back to this live feed when it goes on the replay. Go into the description box, click it, get through there, get all your stuff that you need for your show day tan, skin prep, all the fun things. Actually use they're developing a makeup line as well. I don't think that they're selling it yet, but I did use it for the last show that I did makeup at for competition, and it was beautiful. Beautiful. I will say I come in slightly different based on who the head judge is. Yeah, because all head judges and their panels tend to have different preferences, and you learn that. That's part of the game. You learn that as you move along. It's a subjective sport. It's a subjective sport, and we definitely see preferences show up depending on who you're in front of. Being staged, I feel super good with all the health stuff that comes with it. The feeling of being just head full or being the criteria. Yeah, and at the end of the day, I know what you meant with that. At the end of the day, I get that you want to push yourself to be better and things like that, but that's why we have other divisions too. So like if you want to get more conditioned or you want to put more muscle on, that's why you can move up. You move up to wellness, you can move up to figure or whatever. So that there's nothing saying that you have to stay in bikini. Even on the pro stage, you can change. I won my pro card in figure and then I moved to bikini. You've got that option. So anything else, guys? Anything else you wanted to throw in there? And there's my QR code if you would like to set up a suit consultation with me. I do them for free. Thought her look was great. Yeah. And again, she mentioned she changed some things going to finals, but the pictures are from prejudging, I believe. She mentioned that she changed her hair, gave her hair some more oomph, changed her makeup up going into finals. She changed a few things going into finals. Anything else? I'll give it another minute. I'll let it go till 49. We're at 48. We'll give it one more minute for you guys to type in anything else you wanted to say. And as we're waiting here too for any more comments to come in, I'm used to seeing her leaner, but thought she looked good. I like the fuller look. And Ashley is usually a lot leaner, Thank you, Madison. Speaking of which, I'm off to go train hammies and shoulders. There you go. Have fun, Maya. Look beautiful as always. Maya, before you leave, if you're still here, what's your next show? Type it in. Let us know. So we will get on live again tomorrow night. Like I said, I've got a few things I'm going to go over tomorrow night. I do think we have a pro show this weekend, but I think it's like Japan or something like that, somewhere in Asia. I haven't looked at the pro list, to be honest with you. I don't know what's up this weekend, so I got to check that out. But we are going to get on live tomorrow. So be on live tomorrow at 8:15. And then we'll have a behind the bikini on Thursday. As usual, we're back to a normal schedule because Jordan's back from traveling. Oh, Pittsburgh. Well, awesome, Maya. I'll be there too. So I'll see you there. Less than 2 weeks now. Less than 2 weeks. Pittsburgh's going to be a good show. There's a lot of girls doing it. Korea. Okay. It's Korea. Okay. Got it. All right, cool. Awesome. So with that, you guys, like I said, 8:15 back here tomorrow night. And if you have any other questions or comments, feel free to type them in. Make sure to send comments or questions to us for Behind the Bikini too that you'd like us to cover on the podcast. And with that, I'm going to say good night. I'm going to log off of Instagram first. Big stage, and I'm pumped to get on stage next to so many of the women I'm inspired by. So yeah, we'll see you then. It's a great show. I go every year. It's within driving distance to me, so I definitely go every year. Plus I cover it, so that's part of it. I cover it for you guys here, so we'll be doing that as well. We got lots of things on slate. We've got pros and NBC girls competing. So with that, you guys, I'm going to let y'all go, and I'll see you back here